It was evening time when in the sky above Delhi 2 airplanes carrying 349 people were moving towards each other. Among them one airplane was going to land at Delhi airport while the other had taken off from Delhi. Both airplanes' pilots were taking instructions from the same air traffic controller, and there was also a gap of 1,000 feet kept between their altitude. But no one knows what happened that the airplanes which had to cross each other with a gap of 1,000 feet collided with each other during flight. Where did the mistake happen? And who was responsible? When both pilots were taking instructions from air traffic controller and there was also a proper gap present between them, then how did they collide in such a vast airspace? This painful story is about such an accident which the world today knows as the worst mid-air collision. Welcome once again to Dark Reality Videos. Viewers, do you know that at every passing minute there are 15,000 to 25,000 airplanes in the sky? According to flight radar, if we talk about total flights, then every day more than 100,000 flights land in the world. So here a question arises, that if at every time there are so many airplanes in the sky, then why do they not collide with each other? The answer is air traffic controllers and airways in the sky. Just like there are highways on land, in the same way in the sky also there are imaginary airways. And air traffic controllers manage airplanes on those airways which have different rules. For example, airway named UM68 connects Europe to Asia. On this airway the flights which are eastbound, meaning those which go from Europe to Dubai and then India and China, their altitude is kept on odd numbers: 35,000 feet, 37,000 and 39,000 feet. On the same airway the traffic which is west bound, meaning the one going back to Europe, is kept on even number altitudes: 1,000, 36,000, 38,000 feet. These altitude instructions are given to the pilot by the air traffic controller present in that region. In this way thousands of airplanes at all times using these airways flight levels keep crossing each other safely in the sky with a difference of 1,000 or 2,000 feet. And this is a very normal thing. But on the evening of 12 November 1996 above the city of Delhi in India, what happened that two passenger-filled airplanes collided with each other? One of them was Kazakhstan Airlines Ilyushin Il-76, which took off from Shymkent International Airport, Kazakhstan at 3:55 in the afternoon Indian time. After a journey of 3.5 hours, it had to land at Delhi International Airport. It was a chartered flight in which there were 27 passengers and 10 crew members. These people were merchants who were going to India for trading. On the other side, a Saudi Airlines Boeing 747 at the same time had landed at Delhi airport. After loading passengers again, it had to depart at 6 in the evening back to Jeddah. In it, mostly Indian laborers boarded who worked in this Arab country. In the Saudi airplane, a total of 312 lives were on board, 289 passengers and 23 crew members. If seen, then both flights might never have seen each other. Their starting points were also different and their destinations were also different. But the 349 people on board them did not know that in the next few hours in this vast airspace they were going to meet in an extremely terrifying way. After about 2.5 hours, at 6:23 the Kazakhstan Airline Flight 1907 had reached Lumka waypoint. These waypoints work similar to how a crossroads or roundabout works on roads from different directions. Where airways cross each other, that point is normally called a waypoint. But it is an imaginary point from where airplanes can turn. Now here it is very important to understand about two airways. One international airway was coming from Kazakhstan to India, on which flight 1907 traveled to India. And another airway which is called G452. In radio language Gulf 452. This airway connects India and China with Gulf countries, on which Saudi Airline had to travel from Delhi to Jeddah. These both airways intersect each other above Haryana, and this point is called Lumka Waypoint. This point is at a distance of 328 kilometers west of Delhi Airport. Any airplane traveling on these airways, if it has to land in Delhi, then it will climb onto another small airway from Lumka Waypoint, which is called Delhi Star. At 6:23 when Kazakhstan Airline Flight 1907 reached Lumka Waypoint, then its crew contacted Delhi ATC and requested permission to come on Delhi Star route. At that time their altitude was 25,000 feet and Delhi ATC gave them permission for flight level 200, meaning 20,000 feet. Now Flight 1907 left the international airway and came on to Delhi Star and reduced its altitude. At the same time at 6:32 Saudi Airline Boeing 747 flight SV763 took off after getting permission from Delhi Air Traffic Controller. Its captain was 44 years old Khalid Al-Shubaili. First officer 39 years old Nazir Khan and 36 years old flight engineer Ahmed Idris. Saudi Airline crew was completely fresh and was doing first flight after 70 hours of rest. After takeoff ATC gave the Saudi airplane permission to climb to 10,000 feet. Their Kazakhstan Airline Flight 1907 was 137 kilometers away from the airport. Here one important thing to understand is that now Saudi Airline also had to go from Delhi Star, Lumka Waypoint, and Kazakhstan Airline Flight 1907 was also on Delhi Star moving towards Delhi International Airport. Both flights' crew were talking to the same controller sitting in Delhi ATC, whose name is told as VK Dutta. To ensure they do not collide with each other, it was the job of VK Dutta to keep them on Delhi Star flight path at different altitudes. At 6:34 Dutta gave permission to the Kazakh plane to descend to 15,000 feet. At that time they were 100 kilometers away from Delhi. After 2 minutes, at 6:36 Dutta gave the Saudi plane, which was earlier at 10,000 feet, now permission for 14,000 feet. Both were on the same flight path Delhi Star facing each other, but with a gap of 1,000 feet. At 6:38 p.m. Saudi crew reported to Dutta that they had reached 14,000 feet and asked permission to climb further. But because in front of them Kazakh plane would cross from above with a gap of 1,000 feet, due to this VK Dutta told the Saudi plane to hold altitude of 14,000 feet. On which Saudi plane's first officer replied, Saudi SV763 will maintain 140. 140 means 14,000 feet. Here one thing about Kazakhstan Airline flight crew is very important to know. It included a 44 years old captain, 36 years old first officer, 50 years old flight engineer, 51 years old navigator, and most importantly 41 years old radio operator. This flight had a radio operator because the entire crew only knew Russian language and internationally ATC instructions are given in English, and this radio operator's job was to translate ATC English instructions into Russian language. At 6:39 p.m. Kazakh plane reported that they had descended to 15,000 feet. At that time VK Dutta said these words: identified traffic 12 o'clock reciprocal Saudi Boeing 747 at 10 miles likely to cross in another 5 miles, report if in sight. The simple meaning was that at your 12 o'clock, meaning right in front of you, a Saudi Airline Boeing 747 is coming in opposite direction. It is about 10 nautical miles, around 18.5 kilometers away from you. It will probably cross your path in next 5 nautical miles. If you see that airplane with your eyes, then inform us. But Kazakh airline radio operator did not understand this message properly, so he asked for clarification. On which Dutta replied, traffic is at 8 miles level 140. Meaning the airplane is 8 nautical miles away at altitude 14,000 feet. On this Kazakh plane radio operator said acknowledge the update now looking 1907, meaning he noted it. It had not even been half a minute after this message when another message came on ATC. A U.S. Air Force cargo flight nearby told Delhi ATC that they saw a big explosion ahead. Dutta immediately tried to contact Saudi and Kazakh flights, but there was no response. Unfortunately, both airplanes had collided. Kazakh flight's left wing collided with Saudi flight's left wing and both wings were cut from the middle. Boeing 747 started spinning downwards. Fire was coming out of its broken wing and in the air itself. The airplane broke into two parts and fell at supersonic speed in Haryana's Dani village. Kazakhstan Airlines Ilyushin with half wing and half vertical stabilizer went into flat spin and fell in Haryana's Birohar village. In this terrifying and heart-shaking accident, not a single person out of 349 people on board both airplanes survived. This accident's news pushed the whole world into mourning. Headlines started running on local and international media, and on everyone's tongue there was only one question: that when there was a gap of 1,000 feet between their altitude, then how did they collide? Investigation revealed that at 6:39 p.m., when Kazakh plane reported to Delhi ATC that they had reached 15,000 feet. At that time actually they were at 16,348 feet and were continuously descending. The 15,000 feet message was either wrongly translated by the radio operator or the captain did not understand correctly. Maybe he did not understand that part. And also radio operator was taking time to translate English message into Russian. When Dutta clearly told them that there is a Saudi airplane in front of you, that message was not understood the first time. Second time it was understood, but by the time it was conveyed to pilot and necessary adjustments were made, it was already too late. Investigation also found some fault of ATC. Hope you will like and share this video of dark reality. Thank you very much for your lovely comments. See you in the next amazing video.